For a game as fast-paced as Doom, you wouldn't expect a weapon that requires movement to charge up its blast to be bad, but you'd be very wrong. You'd be very, very wrong. God, both of these guns are poop. Oh, stop killing me. You know I'm using autistic weapons.
Alright.
No, you can kill me. It's fine. I kind of want to... You can, yeah, try to kill me. I mean, I'm trying to prove that these weapons suck.
Okay, I was like, so do I not shoot at you, or what's the dealio?
Because the idea about the series is that I'm going to go after, like, some low-hanging fruit, or some guns that maybe, like, just aren't that useful, but aren't, like, god-awful. And then I'm going to, like, I want the series to get progressively worse.
Mm-hmm.
This thing has, I can't pace it. That's like the main thing that, like, goes into accuracy, is that the ability to, like, pace your shots. But this thing has such a weird rate of fire. Doom, one of the massively underrated games of 2016. It's a pretty common consensus that there are no bad weapons in Doom, only different weapons with different niches to fill. I think that idea comes from the fact that the Doom playstyle comes from using both your secondary and primary weapon in sync with one another. But in this series, we're finding the worst gun in FPS history, not the worst pair of weapons. So, yes, you might call it cheating that I'm kind of ignoring the whole meta of Doom to make this video, but we're not focusing on how well this weapon works in sync with other weapons. We're focusing on this weapon as it stands on its own. Because Doom has a lot of weapons that stand out very well on their own. The combat shotgun, the burst rifle, and the vortex rifle are the first guns that come to mind, but it's far from the only ones that are viable by themselves. The static rifle, however, doesn't really have the attributes of a good standalone weapon, which the main attribute there is versatility and reliability. Reliability goes out the window when you realize that you have to move your character to charge up this weapon to get the max damage. Moving in a shooter to make your gun do a lot of damage. That is a crazy variable. Yes, Doom is a fast-paced game that requires fast-paced movement, but that doesn't mean you should be moving in a straight line all the time. Sometimes stopping, backing up are essential. Sometimes waiting is essential. If you're moving around a map on Doom and then you decide to wait in a doorway because you hear some people coming through, your charge on your rifle is going to go away or start going away, and you'll deal a lot less damage, thus probably losing you the gunfight. Alright, so it's not reliable in the sense that you should depend on it all the time. It's got kind of an uncomfortable variable. So versatile, how is it at different ranges and in different engagements? Well, do not attack multiple opponents with this weapon. The weapon's fire rate is atrocious, and I don't really need to, like, show it to you with its own clip. You can just see it here. I'm not trying to, like, precisely aim this thing, I'm trying to like fire at these bots that are moving, and it's hard as shit because I'm also trying to do it while moving and charging up the gun. The thing is, as soon as you fire, your charge goes away. It's not like you have like max power while moving, which would be a really cool idea. Every time you fire, you have to wait for it to charge again, otherwise you're just firing like really piddly damage. And when it comes to its accuracy, a big part of accuracy when it comes to non-automatic weapons is its pacing. Like, how can you fire it? How do you have to pace your shots? Because as we all know, with video game accuracy, it's not about hitting your target 100% of the time, it's being able to correct very quickly. This gun has such a stunted fire rate. I guess this gun would be better if I could like spam fire it or walk and charge it up, but it's either slow firing low damage or slow firing single shot high damage if you can hit them. I ended up having to lower my sensitivity this game because I usually play on a 60 in Doom, and I had to lower it down to a 30 just so I could like control this thing. Because again, you're having to move, and you also, I get this like kind of like stress feeling. This is very subjective. I get this kind of stress feeling that like screams at me, you know? Where it's like, you better hit this shot. You charged it up, you better hit this shot. And it's like, there's guns that I don't have to charge up and I could just be hitting them already, god damn it. So let's talk about this gun as if you were using it with another gun, because I guess we can't completely ignore Doom's gameplay style. Yes, if you were in a position like, okay, you have a combat, like I'm using it here in the gameplay, a combat shotgun and a static rifle. You run around with the static rifle, somebody comes in the corner, you hit them with that massive 60 shot damage, and then you pull out your combat shotgun and finish them off. Yeah, that could work. But you could also use the vortex rifle, the sniper rifle. That gun also has to charge up for max damage, but you don't have to move for it to charge up. In fact, when 1v1ing this game with my girlfriend, unfortunately my Elgato was crapping out, so I couldn't fucking record it. Thanks, Elgato. Your new software is top fucking notch. Anyway, when we were playing, I was able to hip fire or no scope my girlfriend when we were 1v1ing just fine. I wasn't penalized for it at all. And I could take up a secondary shot which would do more damage than the stupid fucking static rifle. Or I could stop, aim down sight, charge up the blast, and then when she would come through a door, hit her. And in case you're wondering, the reason I play against bots or I do private matches for these videos is because, for one, it's usually a gun I've already like played with online and I didn't like. I play with it against bots to eliminate the skill aspect of a gun being good. I'm trying to judge this gun, or any of these guns throughout this series, on how good they stand on their own. I don't want to have a variable of a really good player or really bad players. I want to know how easy is it to just shoot bots? Do the sights fuck you up? Does the gun have a weird variable that makes your kills inconsistent? Do you lose gunfights like with my Uzi video? Do you lose gunfights to recruit bots in Black Ops because the iron sights are so bad you lose your target at close range? Fuck. So keeping all these things in mind, I realize this is not a dependable, reliable, versatile gun. You have to keep moving for it to be at max charge, and then after you hold still, it's like 1, 2, and then your charge is gone. And yes, my aim in this gameplay is not that great. I haven't been playing Doom recently. I just knew when I started the series, I gotta make a video on that static rifle. It's so shit. But while private matching and 1v1ing, I did realize that I was so much better with the Vortex rifle, so much better with the Burst rifle, so much better with the Hellshot. They were reliable weapons. And this gun, standing on its own, is not reliable. It is not beneficial. And let's look back at the scenario I painted earlier, coming around the corner, hitting somebody with the fully charged blast, and then pulling out your combat shotgun. Well, you know another gun that's really, really good at that? Not at super long ranges, but in tight quarters, the Super Shotgun is really good at putting massive damage on somebody and then swapping to a gun with more like consistent damage and then finishing them off. Or you could run the Super Shotgun Combat Shotgun loadout, which is really fucking great. I might do a whole video on that sometime. Look, I know these videos might be triggering to some people because you might be really good with the weapon. You might see my gameplay and go, well, he's not good, that's why the weapon is bad. But just look at the objective things that I am saying, and we'll list them off here. You have to keep moving to keep the weapon charged, to keep it at its max damage, and if you stop moving for longer than a second and a half, it starts to dissipate. The fire rate is slow, and it loses that charge after every shot, and you have to wait for it to come back. There are better guns that stand on their own that don't have all these strange variables that allow you to put consistent damage on somebody. And I'm not saying you couldn't do well with this weapon. I am saying, though, that there are better weapons in Doom, and there are better weapons throughout FPS history. So we started with the Uzi, an SMG that isn't bad in the sense that, yes, you can get in close range and mow somebody down like you should be able to with an SMG. It just had terrible iron sights and strange, dramatically random recoil patterns that just made me wonder, why am I not using a different SMG the whole time I was using it? And now we have a rifle that requires you to move to make sure it has max damage. This rifle is so niche, and Doom puts you in so many different types of engagements with so many different types of scenarios that this gun doesn't bend to them. Again, do not face multiple opponents with this weapon, you will die. Make sure you have a really strong secondary that you can pull out. But overall, I do say give this weapon a try because it is fun, it is interesting, and that's why we play so many different shooters. That's why a lot of you guys play so many different shooters, right? It's because there's weird, interesting guns, interesting experiences that you won't get in other games. So if you play Doom, try out the static rifle. Let me know if I played with the gun wrong and there's a tactic that you need to know to use the weapon, and don't just say aim, because I will already say that in this gameplay, yes, my aim is shat. It is terrible. So let me know if there's a tactic I need to use. And let me know if you have had any good gameplay moments with the static rifle. I've had a couple online, not while my Elgato was running, and that was back, like, I would say end of last year, I think. So it's been several months. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. And remember, this series is going to get better as it goes on. We're going to find worse weapons. We're going to go more in depth. We're going to find out why guns suck. Because these first episodes are just easy things. The Uzi had bad iron sights and bad recoil. This gun is not versatile or dependable in any way. This is gonna go down a rabbit hole, guys. So leave me your predictions for the next gun I'm going to do, and I will see you when I see ya. Goodbye!